Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. We know that what the Rebbe brings in the Haggadah, how every detail of the night of Pesach has meaning to it, and no small custom is unimportant. Perhaps I'd like to share with you some insight to show you the greatness of the night of Pesach. And some of it will show you some Hasidic pshat and even halachic interpretation that will help show you how important the night of Pesach is. There is a Hasidic saying how true it is that you hear that the simple person on the street in Eretz Yisrael, if you ask him, how are you doing, how are you, and he says, Hakol beseder. Hakol beseder means everything is fine. And one of the Chassidish Rebbes explains, Hakol b'seder, everything you could find in the night of the seder. Oh, how true that is. The night of the seder is an awesome time. I'll tell you that in the Darkei Moshe, one of the Svarim that the Ramah writes, he says, halachically, it could be one of the reasons why we do urchatz. You know that we wash our hands. We wash our hands before karpas, and we all know the real reason is because of the karpas we do is they do the dunking of the yerakos, which not every time throughout the year. Every time we dip in yerakos in water and liquid, not necessarily we do this throughout the year, but lahasmiya atinoikos on the night of Pesach we do so. But the Ramah in Darkei Moshe actually says that the night of Pesach, the reading of the Haggadah is sort of like a tefillah. And because it's like a tefillah, like a davening, and since before we daven, we wash our hands, so urchatz, we're washing our hands before we're davening. It's a special time, the night of the seder. So I want to share with you another halacha, a beautiful thought, that we'll see this again, a halacha perspective. The Alter Rebbe says in Siman Tov Ayin Beis, If Vav, the Alter Rebbe says that even though Afal Pisha B'chol Hashana Tov L'mayit B'kelim Noim, even though that throughout the year there is a concept that a yid shouldn't live in luxury, because after all we don't have luxury. We're missing the Beis Hamikdash, Zeicha L'churban. We don't have the Beis Hamikdash. Mikol Makna B'leil Pesach, when it comes the night of the Pesach, Toiv L'har Beis B'kelim Noim, it's best that it's nice if you have a lot of nice, beautiful kelim, K'fi Koicha, as much as you're able to. Afilu HaKelim Shein Tzarech L'Suda, even the kelim that not necessarily are needed for the meal, Yisadram Yofal Shulchan L'Noi, he should set them up and make the table look beautiful. Zeicha L'Cheres, it should look like a beautiful royal table. This is a beautiful halacha. Even if there are kelim that he has as a dowry, as a deposit, as a safekeeping from a guy owes him money, and this is as a deposit, in case the guy doesn't pay him back, this is his deposit. Yisadram ala shulchan l'noi. He could use that and put it on the table, l'noi. Va'afim yirtza l'ishtamish behem. And even if he wants to use those kelim, ein bazeh mishum gezel agoy, there is no problem of stealing. V'loy mishum geneva sadas, and there is no stealing the guy's mind. K'moishin isbar b'yeridei siman kuf chaf, as it's explained in Yeridei siman kuf chaf. Very interesting din. In other words, this doesn't belong to the Yid. This is something which is only held as a guarantee in case somebody doesn't pay back a loan, etc. But the Yid is allowed to put it on the table, and the Alter Rebbe is very clear. He's allowed to put it on the table to show cherus, and not only is allowed to put it on the table, he actually is allowed to use it if it's a way of showing cherus. And the question is, why? And the Alter Rebbe just says, K'moish Yisbar, look in your Yeridei siman kuf chaf. This is a discussion that's brought in the Magen Avram, and the Maril, which the Magen Avram discusses, the Mishnah Berurah discusses, debates this. The Taz discusses this. It could be that because this is not something which is used often, it's something which you use once in a blue moon. You're using it only once a year, Pesach time, only Lanoi. There's different ways how to explain it. One, either the first answer, which is given in the Taz, Yesadreim. You're putting it on your table just as a fixture, as to make it look nice. Okay, that was the first thing the Alter Rebbe said. You're allowed to put it on the table to make it look nice on the table. That wouldn't be using something that belonged to somebody else. That's not gezel. I understand why that would be permitted. But from the other hand, and then if that would be, from one hand, derech cherus, you gain the benefit of making it look royal and not having gezel. But the Alter Rebbe went from a step further and said, if you need, you could even use it. How could you even use it? So the answer which is given in Achrayim is, because you're using it once, only using it once is not necessarily gezela, because the goyim are not makbid on one-time usage. That's what the Alter Rebbe is making a reference to Yeridei Siman Kuf Chaf. And the biggest proof is because in Choshen Mishpat it says that since a mashkin of a goy, sometimes a yid could even be mafkia his halva. So if he could even be mafkia his halva, a one-time usage is even easier. Is even something more beneficial, something more that he could do. And the proof, another example they bring is, if a yid has a guarantee, a yid has a rug or a nice picture that a guy gave him as a guarantee, he could hang it up in his sukkah as nice sukkah for the same reason, because he's only using it temporary, and he's not really using it on the ongoing time. It's only for a couple of days. That's the halacha, how it answers the two issues that the Alter Rebbe says. Some svarim come along with a new problem, which the Alter Rebbe doesn't seem to address. If the Alter Rebbe says that not only you could put it on the table, and not only you could use it because there is zeicher lecheres, and there is no gezela, but what happened to the fact that he's not toiveling it? You have to toivel something that belongs to a guy. This point is addressed in the Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer says that when Moshe Rabbeinu told the Yidden that they have to leave Mitzrayim, we find something very strange. The Yidden were suffering in Mitzrayim for so long, and the Hashem tells Moshe, Daber na ba'ozneim, please beg them to leave. V'yishalu klei kesef or klei zav, please beg them that they should loan from the Mitzrayim kalim, gold and silver kalim. Why would they have to beg them to take stuff that belonged golden? They were slaves until then. Wouldn't they be happy to take golden kalim? And the answer which the Chassam Sofer gives, the Yidden didn't want to have any part of Tumah of the Mitzrayim. So the Yidden had to be begged, please, don't worry about it. You're about to live through a time that you're going to transform all that Tumah, it's going to become Kedusha. So the Chassam Sofer says, the Yidden on the night of the Seder, when the Yid takes that Goyish Keli and puts it on the table, there is no more Tumah. That Keli on the Seder table becomes Kedusha. It does not need any Tevilah. A tremendous Chiddush. So it just shows you the dargas a Yid could achieve at the night of the Seder, and halavai, we should understand this, and each one of us should take advantage of this awesome moment.